Hi, I am Sandra R. Blythe, and I have put together this video today because I wanted to introduce and reintroduce the books that I have written and also give you some backdrop on the inception of those books, as well as tell you a little bit about who I am. Now, I am an author, a poet. I am a certified John C. Maxwell Speaker, and that probably tells you very little about who I am and more about what I do. So let me tell you about who I am. Who is Sandra R. Blythe? Everything that I do is on the foundational building of surviving, healing, and thriving. And if we drill down deeper, what I'm actually trying to communicate to you is that the things that I write, the presentations that I do, the workshops that I have, they're all built around giving and providing tools and knowledge for survival, tools and knowledge for healing, and the aftermath of how we thrive through those situations and circumstances from which we've healed. And in doing that, it allows us to be empowered in a way that we can move forward and that we become people who are more emotionally and mentally healthy. That is always the core. That is always the push for me when I'm speaking, when I'm writing. I really genuinely want people to get better. I want us to be healthy in our thoughts. I want us to be healthy emotionally. I want us to be healthy mentally. And whatever push that I can bring to the table, I'm always trying to bring it. So for that reason, I created Robnick Enterprise because it's a correlation of all of those things. It's bringing people workshops that help them in their survival skills. It's those conversations that help us heal. It's those aftermath conversations of how we can thrive and become empowered to move ourselves forward. It's all of those things that allow us to become that best version, that healthiest version of who we are. So in saying that, I think I've laid a little bit more texture and context to who Sandra R. Blythe is when you see that name. Before I move on, the reason again behind this whole video is some introductory or reintroductory, depending on where you are in your journey of knowing who I am in the books. But one of the things I wanted to give to you as an example to kind of solidify what I'm doing today is I am a person who is a great lover of music. Love it, love it, love it. I love music. But what I love most is the lyrics. I love the lyrics before I love the beat, before I love the melody. I fall in love with lyrics. If it captures my heart, if it lures me in, I'm there. And when that happens for me, one of the things that go through my mind is what prompted the lyrics? What prompted this song? Did that happen to the writer? Was that a real situation? Was it observational? Was it a close friend, close relative? Is it totally fictitious? I want to know, because those lyrics have drawn me in on such a personal level that now I want to know how that came to be. 99.9% of the time, I'm never going to know unless that person does an interview and discloses the inception of that particular song. I'm never going to know the story. So I thought, in trying to really put my books out and get people to understand what they're about, it would be really nice and even advantageous for some people to have that history, have that backdrop, and know what brought that book into life, what breathed life into that book. And so that's what I want to do with you today. Just very briefly, I want to talk to you about the first book that I wrote. And that first book is Poetry in Different Colors. And I did Poetry in Different Colors in terms of the title, because there's this variety of things that are in the book. It's relationships, it's motivational, it talks about character, it talks about spirituality. It even has a chapter that's called Tribute, because there are poems that I wrote specifically about people that I know. And it was a tribute to those individuals. So for that, it just seemed very appropriate to say poetry in different colors. Now, the one thing that I will tell you to even drill down even more about this book is that it was very, very therapeutic. Now, remember, I said this came on the heels of a broken heart and unhealthy relationships. So when I wrote this book, I put myself in my very own therapy. I billed myself, and I still am paying for the invoice. But it was, all jokes aside, it really was therapeutic. It really was. It was me unloading from a very tumultuous relationship, just all of the fallout from some very unhealthy relationships. And it all just came tumbling down after that last traumatic relationship. And by the time I got to the third poem, because I'm writing, I didn't know I was doing a book. I'm writing, I'm 3 poems in. By the time I get to the third poem, I'm thinking, I really need to make this a book. I've never done a book before, but I really feel like I need to take this journey. So being 3 poems in, I'm pouring my heart out. I'm purging from all of this brokenness, all of this disappointment, all of this dismissive behavior, all of this, what felt like someone just telling you who you're not and who you can't be. Just everything is just tumbling down in my brain, breaking me into pieces. And I'm writing and I'm writing, and I'm stopping as I'm writing certain poems and just teared up, and a lot of pain, but something saying, you need to write this, you need to write this poem. And by the time I got through that chapter, it was just that unload. It was that true purging moment that spurred me on to say, just keep writing, you know. But it genuinely was the heartbeat of that book, is to write about relationship and love. And that's the chapter where everything becomes transparent, where there are a lot of things exposed. What I've learned when I published that book, that it was very attractive for women, but it doesn't mean that men would not enjoy it. But women really found a connection. There was a common thread. I ended up talking to people during events, and they would say stuff like, you know, you told my story. Or they would say, man, I just don't want to be that person anymore. You know, I don't want to be in an unhealthy relationship. I don't want to settle. I don't want to allow someone to devalue me. And it was so moving to hear people make that connection. It was so moving to know that I wasn't the only person who had been in an unhealthy relationship. I wasn't the only person who had ever been dismissed. I wasn't the only person who had ever been mistreated. I wasn't the only person. And that was very healing for me. You know, that was very healing for me. And once I got into the rhythm, once I found myself in that zone, it propelled me to just keep writing. And consequently, I continued to write other books. But this book, it's very near and dear. I think it's very unique. And like I said, the conversations that come from this book just were mind blowers to me. And I think that if you give yourself the opportunity, you're truly going to enjoy it. It, like I said, it can be a very intimate moment for you, depending on what you're going through, what you've gone through. There's a lot of connection that can be made. And like I said as well, it's not just that one chapter, but I'm honest enough to know that that really is the heartbeat of that book. But there are definitely other things in there that are motivational, that can encourage us to be better people, to be stronger people. Again, that healthy thinking, that healthy emotional state, it does all of those things. It has all of those ingredients for us to press forward. And I just thank you for taking this moment to listen and kind of know, wow, that's where that book came from. She was broken, you know, she was hurt, she was disappointed, she felt dismissed. Just a lot of things going on that she had to break even down further before she could build up to really heal from all that had transpired. So I really thank you for taking this moment with me just to kind of listen to the experience and potentially get a better understanding. What I will do in this moment is tell you to please pay attention to the website information here. Take a moment, go out, peruse. take a look at it. If you're inclined to click on and make a purchase, I'm forever grateful. If you just want to peruse to see what's out there, then that's also awesome as well. But what I will ask you to do is share this video with your friends, with your family. If you are on YouTube, please subscribe and share this. I think it's very important when people are promoting their business, promoting their writings, that people get to know them on a more intimate level, because the more you know about a person, the better you can connect with them. It's easy to write something on a book or write something on the back of a book and somebody read the summary and say, oh, that's what the book is about. But I think it's a whole nother experience to actually listen to someone say, this is the inception, this is why I wrote this, this is why I did it. So thank you for taking these few moments with me. Join me next week. I'll come back on and talk to you about book number 2 and where that came from and what that book encompasses. And just keep taking this journey with me until we get through the 3rd book. And then you'll know a lot more about the book than just what's written on the back of it. Thank you again. Until next time.